One day I'm minding my business. I'm working on my garden in the front of my home, and some police and detectives pull up. They came over to me and they just said, well, we'd like to ask you some questions. And I'm like, what did I do? And before you know it, I'm locked up behind bars. They wanted to charge me with sexual assault of a minor. Mailani accused me of teaching my grandson how to perform a sex act on me, and that never ever happened. I think Mailani coached my grandson to say these things. She's being vindictive, and she comes after me with one of the worst things that you can accuse someone of. My grandson admitted in front of his dad and his mom that she made him lie. And why would he say that if it's not true? My son paid the bail. I got out. And when I got out, my attorney that I paid told me that if I did not take this plea, I was going to get 18 years. And me being distraught and very, very hurt, I thought it was true. And so I pled to false imprisonment, which still I had to do time. I'm still considered a sex offender. Prison was hell. It was total confinement. Never been to prison before. Never had to do time before, never committed a crime. Man, it was a nightmare. I felt like if Mailani hated me that much, she should have just come to my home and stabbed me in my heart or something, because that's how it felt. It felt like I just lost everything. Everything I've ever loved, in my life. I've lost time. I've lost time to be around my family and, spend quality time with my grandson, all because of a lie that Mailani told. I just want the truth to come out, and so I can be set free, and get this off of my record so I can move on with my life.
Mailani, that's your ex's mom on the tape. What's your reaction to what she's saying?
Pure lies, Steve. Pure lies. There's no way that my 3-year-old son is gonna sit there and come up with these allegations out of nowhere. Back when he was 3 years old, he was sitting in the room. We were watching Sesame Street on TV in the bedroom, and he began to urinate on himself. Potty trained, fully potty trained, day and night. And I'm like, what's going on? You want to talk to me? Why are you doing these things? And something came over me and was like, ask him what happens when you're there.
When you're where?
With his granny or with his dad.
Okay.
So I said, what happens when you're with dad? And he goes and tells me everything. Okay, nothing I didn't know. What happens when you're with your granny? And he became dead silent. And instantly, my blood began to boil, and I'm like, what did she do to you? You wanna tell me? She makes me and touch her down there. I take my son to the hospital. When I'm there at the hospital, I let them know what he voiced to me. And then from there, of course, they go and they get the social workers involved. They ended up calling the police, and it just trickled down the whole line from there.
Did you say that if his DNA was on your body, it's because he did it while you were asleep?
No,
You ever
I
make
may
that
have said
statement?
something to that effect, but it wasn't that.
But that's a crazy statement to
It
make.
is a crazy statement, because I didn't even know I was down there until they said something to me.
How did you find out you're being accused?
When I went downtown, when they came and picked me up.
So I'm saying the police came to your house.
Yes.
And what'd they say to you?
They said, we just want to ask you some questions. We just want to ask you some questions. I'm like, sure, because I hadn't done anything, so I'm not guilty.
And they said, we want to take you downtown.
Yes.
And you got in the car?
Yes, no problem. No handcuffs on or anything.
Okay, so they get down, and what did the police tell you?
They just started questioning me. They didn't even read my Miranda rights or ask me that I need a lawyer. They just asked, what do you think you're down here for? I said, I don't know. Could you tell me? And then he says, are you involved? Are you in cahoots with someone or one of your grandson's mothers or something to that effect? And I says, Mailani is the only troublemaker that I can think of. And
why is that?
Because I caught her cutting my son's tires. I caught her letting air out of the tires, just doing all types of things.
She was in a volatile relationship with your son.
A volatile relationship, yes, it was.
Okay.
I was warned by a relative of Mailani that she was going to go file sexual assault on my mother. But I didn't think she would actually do it. My mother has done so much for Mailani and her family. Anytime she's needed them, my mom is always there. So I don't know why she would do this to her, but she did it. And I really think she did it to get at me. I feel like when me and Mailani broke up, she tried to get back at me, but she couldn't, so she went after the next closest person to me, which is my mother. Mailani manipulated my son into lying on my mother and had the police believe that, oh, I don't know how she did it, but somehow she orchestrated that. I recorded them through my phone. I had it on my chest. And I just wanted to see what was going to happen. My son, being a 4-year-old at a tender age, came out and said my mom lied and had me lie.
Why do you want her to be in trouble?
She's not in trouble.
She is going to be in trouble.
Why?
Because you told Tommy and the police.
You were lying.
Oh, now you want to call me a liar, huh?
You told me.
She told you to do what?
Mommy told
What did your mama tell you to do?
Ask Master. Mommy told you to lie?
Yes.
They always said, just tell your mom to take a plea, get this over with. Which I would have never took no plea. I told my mom to never take no plea. But she has never been in trouble before her whole life. Worked hard, raised us. You don't just start molesting somebody at the age of 50 years old. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes, but I just try to be bigger about it and just move on, because this happened so long ago that every time you bring it up, it's like, why you bringing up old news? My mama suffered. She went to jail. She did probation. Her life is ruined. She has a sexual assault on her record. For what? She never did nothing in her life. I just want the truth to come out. That's all. I want the truth, whether it be bad news for me or good news for me on my beliefs. If Mailani tests come back that she coached her son a lie, I'm going to go fight for custody, because this is a horrible accusation to put on somebody. It's just heartbreaking.
Now that tape, and I don't know the full context of it, but it certainly doesn't look good for you.
Oh, it didn't at all. But again, that's where prior to that, when we were talking about it, he did say, but she did do it. And then it was, oh, you lie about spilling milk. You lie about the, and as...
So you're reiterating you did not coach your son?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Jewel, you
Yes.
came here, took a lie detector test.
Yes, I did.
I'm like a judge. You got to stand up for the
Okay.
results. Judge Steve, coming to you in about 10 years. Jewel, you came here and took a lie detector test, and we asked you, did you at any time engage in any inappropriate sexual behaviors and sexual contact with your grandson for your own sexual gratification? You answered no. Did you at any time force your grandson to perform any sexual acts on you? You answered no. The results came back the same to those two questions, and it came back that Jewel told the truth. Let's go! Let's go! We asked you, did you coach your son by helping him say that his granny made him do inappropriate sexual things to her? You answered no. Did you prep your son with the story you came up with before he spoke to the police and Children's Services to ensure he got it right that his granny made him perform sex acts? You answered no. Are you fabricating this entire story that your son was sexually assaulted by his grandmother, Jewel? You answered no. The results came back the same to each one of those three questions, and it came back that Mailani did not tell the truth.
Let's go! Let's go!
Definitely is not.
Can't say nothing. Now what do you have to say?
That is
What do you have to
definitely
say?
not.
Both
the
of y'all
truth.
have lie detector tests. She passed, you
That
failed.
is, no.
You
That,
bogus.
again,
You bogus.
that's okay.
Raise your boys. You should
That's
have
okay.
raise them.
That's
And a
okay.
fight for custody of my kids.
Go ahead.
Mother.
That's,
You
that
bogus.
is fine.
And you
That is-
deserve to rot in hell.
Talk to law enforcement, show them that tape that you made.
Yes.
They have it.
Maybe,
They have it.
They have
maybe justice will be served. I don't know if it will be, but we know justice was denied.
I hope this
Yeah.
don't change
And
the
with you,
relationship, though, like I
you
said.
can get
They
the
don't
hell
have to
up
reach
on
it.
stage. Well, listen,
And it was sad. It was a nightmare.
Still
a total
hard. Still
nightmare.
heartbreaking.
yeah. Well, I hope this helps you somehow.
Yes, it will.
To some degree.
Our lawyer is going
that
to
you come here.
be contacting
And
you.
at the very least, people that might have doubts about you now look at you in a different light.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
I was raped.
My name is Steve Wilkos, and I'm an investigative talk show host with a law enforcement background.
It was my life or his.
My job is to get truth and justice for everyday people. Watch our videos now.